New York City, what a night in the National Football League as Week 6 wraps up. The Chicago Bears lost on a Hail Mary on the same field a year ago on a misty October night. They win at the gun and down by 8 in the fourth quarter. Caleb Williams out to DeAndre Swift. Washington has not been great tackling this year, and it rears its ugly head as DeAndre Swift, powerful running back, runs through a tackle, 55 yards. They go for two, don't get it. Washington with the football back, and on a misty night, the operation not clean as Daniels cannot get into the belly of Bill Krosky-Merritt, and that means the Bears have another opportunity. 3rd down and 5. Big conversion to the Michigan man, Colston Loveland. And now it's Swift again. You want to get as close as you can to give the new kicker, Jake Moody, an opportunity. And what a run from Swift, getting them closer. That allows them to set it up exactly where they want, in the middle of the field. Moody hit 3 field goals, had 1 block. The snap's a bit high, but it is placed down and it is buried. And the Chicago Bears able to score the last 9 in this one to win by 1 as the game ends, and they score a measure of revenge. We welcome in Joe Buck and Troy Aikman from the booth. And Joe, I want to start with you. We had difficulty getting out of town. That's where we live, to get up here to New York because of the remnants of this nor'easter, combination of a little bit of rain and a whole bunch of wind. And we saw that mist start to pick up there. How much of a role do you believe that might have played in that final fumble for Washington?
I think it had a lot to do with it. I'm standing next to a guy who every time there may be bad weather, he says to whatever coach and whatever quarterback, how is he or how are you throwing a wet ball? Because he didn't like throwing a wet ball. I mean, it has to factor in that Jaden Daniels couldn't secure the snap and then basically is shoveling it to Cross can take advantage of it. DeAndre Swift with 175 yards from scrimmage and some big runs really from the beginning of the ball game. That and the turnovers is, I guess, in the end, the difference in tonight's game. Yeah, that and the new kicker who has 1 blocked, and then the life of a kicker. Really an amazing sort of life and existence for these guys, and he's the hero in the end. And Troy, you made a bit of a joke about maybe it comes down to a Hail Mary. It doesn't. But
last year, but for Ben Johnson, the staff, and all of that, they just wanted to come out and try to win another game coming off a bye week, which Chicago has struggled with that over the years as well. But when you're a new coach and a new staff coming in, and you're trying to implement your way of doing things and build something, these games are really, really important. So for them, and the way in which you do it, and they did a lot of really good things they hadn't really shown through the first 4 games, and starting with the offensive line and creating some running lanes, and DeAndre Swift, 100 yards rushing for him, had a big night, looked really good, a lot of good things to build on, but it wouldn't have felt nearly as good if they don't make that kick. Jake Moody doesn't, and they don't head home tonight with a win. So this is great for Chicago. They've won 3 in a row, and they're feeling really good about themselves.
Where do they look better to you from the first time you guys saw them that week, in week 1, I should say, in Chicago, where they have a big lead, then they let it all get away from them?
Well, one is like I said, running the ball. I mean, that is what Ben Johnson is about, and everything else kind of operates off of that. I think Caleb Williams still needs to get a little bit more accurate, but think of the opportunities. You know, we would be saying some different things if Olamide Zaccheaus, if he's able to make that catch. So there are some things that if they just execute, they're not asking much, just execute the plays that are there. This offense would have even looked better than what it did tonight.
Washington doesn't have nearly as much wiggle room this year. The downside of playing well last year, as you guys know, they have a much tougher schedule to face this season, and they dropped this one at home. Look forward to seeing you gentlemen next week in Detroit for what figures to be a fantastic game between the Bucs and the Lions. Thank you for taking the time tonight, guys.
Thanks, Scott.
It'll be good to see you.
All right, yeah. We'll look forward to that. Got to leave town to see you guys. That's fine with me. Wherever we can catch up to Joe and Troy, it'll be in Detroit next week. You see, the next 5 weeks for both sides, the Bears coming off their bye home against the Saints, to give them credit, outside of that 1 loss at Seattle, they've competed in the games they've played. Then at Baltimore and Cincinnati, a couple of teams each struggling at the moment, then the Giants in Minnesota. For Washington, they head to Dallas, then we'll see him for Monday night in Arrowhead, then home for Seattle, Detroit, and then a trip overseas. Sportscenter, always great to be here in New York City as the Chicago Bears knock off the Washington Commanders 25-24. And we welcome in DeAndre Swift, who had a massive night, over 150 scrimmage yards, big touchdown run and catch, and a critical run late to get Chicago closer for the field goal that wins it. Welcome back to the show, DeAndre. Congratulations. How do you best describe what you all have been able to build over the course of these last 3 wins? Started with a Monday night loss, but now this is 3 wins in a row.
Just resilient from top to bottom. The coaches, the players. We didn't start the season how we wanted to, but being able to find a win, it's hard to win in this league. So especially on the road too, against a good opponent like Washington and Las Vegas for the bye. So just trying to find ways to come out with victories.
How much did the weather impact the game late? I asked Joe and Troy this because Washington fumbles it, which gives you the football back. I'm just interested. We could see on TV, but sometimes the mist on TV looks like it's, raining cats and dogs. Was it impacting the game in your opinion?
It started coming down a little bit worse later on in the game. I guess that probably triggered into their fumble, but we was fine.
All right, well, it was good enough for you. You held on to the ball, and you were fantastic tonight. Felt like the run game found some real footing. How have you all improved over the course of these last few weeks, do you feel like, DeAndre?
Just finding ways to get better. We started off kind of slow run game-wise, and that's everybody included. Look at myself first and foremost. So be able to come out here after the bye week against a good opponent like that and perform how we did, hats off to the O-line.
Now, I'm not trying to put you in a bad spot here because kickers are their own breed. I remember earlier this year, Atlanta had a game where they won on a kick late, and some of the guys on the field were just meeting the kicker. They'd never met him. Jake Moody gets called up onto the active squad for tonight. Have you ever talked to Jake Moody?
Yeah, today on the sideline. My first time talking to him. Introduced myself and told him to keep going.
Well, I mean, what an amazing story, though, right? I mean, the life of a kicker is such a solitary thing. He gets cut in San Francisco. He was a great kicker in college. But now, for him to have an opportunity to win this game after a kick gets blocked and to see you guys mob him, what's that moment like for all you guys?
That's amazing. That's amazing. Hats off to him coming in here. And I think he's found out on short notice what his job was going to be today. I'm so proud of how he came in and just thankful that he was able to finish.
All right, let me let you get out of here because I know you're cold and probably wet and cold and ready to get in there and get cleaned up and take a shower. But I got to let you get out of here on your dogs. How you feeling about them with a big one coming with Ole Miss? I don't think they've lost a game yet. And game day's in town. Ole Miss is in town. You feel confident about the dogs?
100%. 100%. Go Dogs. 100%.
Okay, you're an understated gentleman. I know that's an emphatic vote of confidence for Georgia. Congratulations on what you did tonight. That's a huge win for this squad, particularly with what happened last year. But as Troy said, that was last year. I know it's a different year this year. Congrats on the dub, and we'll talk to you again down the road, man.
Thank you. I have a good one.
All right, I appreciate you. DeAndre Swift and Chicago coming into Washington off a bye. Last year, we know what happened. It was a Hail Mary at the end that really changed the entire trajectory, as Ryan Clark said on Countdown, of not 1, but 2 seasons. It's a 6-0 game after a Jaden Daniels pick early. And then here, Bill Krosky-Merritt puts the ball on the ground, and it's the second turnover of the first quarter. So the Bears are trying to capitalize, and they do. Here on a second-and-goal situation in Caleb Williams. A little help from Swift getting there. And he is in, as you see, great play design, and Caleb Williams got the size and speed to get there. And it's 13-0. Now the Commanders trying to get on the board, and they do in a hurry. It's Daniels with a gorgeous pass to Chris Moore. Keeps the knee in bounds, and just like that, 13-0 deficit is cut more than in half. A touchdown and they would have the lead. Third quarter, this is a critical moment. Bears leading 13-10. Don't want to settle for a field goal on 3rd and 6. It's a beautiful throw and catch to Rome Odunze. There's one problem, an illegal formation. We've seen that called a lot this year, a lot of flags for formational situations, and the left tackle too far off the line of scrimmage. So they settle for a field goal, which means that this double move right here, which, by the way, Coach Hasselbeck works every time, finds Luke McCaffrey, and it's 17-16. Commanders have the lead. After the Commanders block a field goal, now a chance to put their foot on the gas, and what a beautiful throw and catch to